Howdy, folks. It's another piggy day in the piggy life. One way of putting it, ain't it? Well, we just got done clearing out a major portion of one of the rooms back there so they can get to a back wall and do some work on it. And possibly take that whole wall out and work on the floor as well as the wall. So be it. It is what it is. In the meantime, Lord has laid it on our hearts to try to look into some things. So we're looking into some things. And should those things work out, and I'm hoping they do, we can clear it all out. So they have access to the whole thing without nothing in their way. And Piggy and the missus will be working on a new project. Should it all work out like a Piggy hopes so, I know the Lord's going to do something. Because something got to give. And it's all right. And even in spite of, I still say, like I always say, I'm going to have a great day, even on my worst day. It don't matter what's happening. It don't matter if the world's falling apart. Which, in a way, it's trying to around here. And that's all right, too. That's just the Lord giving us a kick in the butt to get started looking around and seeing what we can do. So, guess what we're going to do? We're going to look around and see what we can do. It's going to be tough. It works out. It'll be a bit of a struggle. But that's all right. This life's all about struggles. And I guess I won't stop struggling until the day this body ceases to function and the piggy goes home to do what he's got to do there. So it's all good. In the meantime, I'm going to tell y'all this story. It should give y'all a little laugh. Now, the piggy ain't but 5'4.5" tall. I might not even be that anymore after that neck surgery. Because the way those discs were swollen up and expanded and everything else, you know, I about have been getting my ½ inch from that. But the piggy's always been a short little feller. Always. You know, when I was 6 years old, I could be given a bath. You know, those old double sinks, they're pretty big. But I could be given a bath in one half in one side of that big old kitchen sink. And I could sit in one corner, elbows up on the sides, legs stretched out and not touch the other corner when I was 6 years old. If that gives y'all any idea just how much of a short feller the piggy is. Is a short feller. Had one woman tell me one time, I told her my height and all like that. She's a taller woman. She goes, "Oh, you're a climber." Well, don't really understand what you mean, but yeah, probably. So, I'll find a way. Had a problem with that. A lot of my life, being short, people making fun of it. I eventually learned to make use of it. Because there was a dump truck, especially when I was a lot younger and single, and let's just face it, I was randy as all get out. I learned to use that to my advantage. Them taller girls, they be looking down at me. Well, they say look straight ahead. Well, guess what I was saying? You couldn't blame me if they were down there with my eyeballs instead of my eyeballs looking down. And I also had a good vantage point to be able to check all that out long before I got there to talk to one eyeball to eyeball. So, and I've got good peripheral vision. I see a whole lot of things people don't think I see, even with bad eyesight. So, well, that's an advantage. After high school, went into the Marine Corps, I finally figured it out. I ain't got to worry about a pretty girl turning me down. The worst thing she can do is say no. Like, okay, you're lost. See ya. And turned out to have a good attitude about it. And turned out I was fairly good at, if I really wanted it, I could get it. But I'm a long hauler. I was looking for that long haul. And it took me 45 years of life, but I finally, well, a little longer. Took me almost 47 years of life. I finally found the long haul. Anyway, this is the funny story. When I was a kid, y'all bear in mind how small I was. Now, I was always built kind of stocky, muscle-wise. My daddy was. Well, we used to keep chickens down in the lower part of the yard. I might show y'all sometime. We had a bunch of chicken wire up around a bunch of the different trees down there and formed a chicken coop and had a little wooden structure in there for them to brood in and whatnot. Everything, open face, wasn't nothing much. Well, one day Daddy decided to bring home a rooster. Big old black and gray rooster. Beautiful, beautiful rooster. Well, what they had put that rooster in was a big old long 3 or 4 foot, maybe longer, cage. Like a big rectangle. Elongated rectangle. Because the openings were pretty much square, tall enough for the rooster to walk around in and turn around. And that's all the big that opening was. And the whole cage all the way back. Big enough for that rooster to stand up in and turn around in. That's it. Well, that rooster wasn't wanting to come out that cage. It was just bound and determined it was going to stay in the back of that cage where nobody could reach it. Well, Daddy was too big to get into it. My older sibling, Chunky, he was too big to get in it. And not that he would deign himself to get down on the ground with it and get in there. So that only left one. There was only one that was small enough to move around inside that cage. It was the Piggy. Baby Piggy, by comparison. Well, that rooster was almost as big as I was. So that rooster took it as a challenge. He kicked at me. He flogged at me. He did everything he could because I was trying to get in there at him. Well, I finally got tired of it. I got mad. I reached a hand out, grabbed them legs and swiped them up in one hand, and jerked him out from underneath him and drug him out and had him hanging upside down. And he was clucking a different tune. Instead of being mean clucks while inside that cage, when I had him upside down, cluck, cluck, he didn't know what was going on. This thing ain't much bigger than me. How'd he do that? Cluck. But I did it. Kind of the same thing when I went to the Marines boot camp in that 4th pupil stick fight I had. The previous 3, they found out that I could throw a punch. I knocked them out, except the third one. The third one, I didn't knock him out, but he had to be carried off dragging one leg. He didn't know where he was at. So they decided to find out. Well, he can give a hit, but can he take a hit? Would he go into combat good, or would he fold? They found out. I lost that fight. That dude was used to knocking out 2 at one time. As big, if not bigger than he was. Now here he was faced with this little short y'all. And we went round and round. That whistle never blew. He finally won the fight. But he didn't succeed in what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to hurt me and knock me out doing it. He failed. I went to my knees, but I got up and walked off. My DIs were awful happy with that. Of course, I saw them swapping hands with the other DIs, and I was like, oh, crap. I've been set up. And when I got up off my knees and turned around and walked back towards my platoon, a squadron of banshees would have been scared the way they was whooping and hollering. And the other platoon was hanging their heads because they knew they was fixing to get tore up. Because my buddies, seeing me take that kind of hit, be as small as I am, from a man as big as that man was, that was known to knock big fellers out. Oh, you talk about adrenaline pumping hard. My buddies, they took care of business. They didn't nobody else win a fight on the other side. It's the same story with that chicken. It goes back that far. I've been a fighter and a survivor. And I can take a hit. Of course, now when I took that hit from that 1/2 horsepower, 1/2 inch right angle drill down there working with my neighbor, that was the last bad hit I was able to take. It killed Superman. But, it was just one of many blows, and it was about time. And it was something in God's plans. And it's all good. Everything worked out the way it's supposed to. I've had blessings because of that I couldn't have dreamed of. So, I've always been a fighter and a survivor. So is Elaine. So as we face what we're going to face, we'll do it like we've always done. Well, that happened. Let's see what we can do about it. And that's what we're doing. We'll see what we can do about it. All right, well, Piggy loves you.